Let me ask you, what type of foundation are you building your professional future on? Is it a weak foundation that's going to undermine anything you attempt to build on it? Or is it a strong foundation that'll support any professional future you pursue? Brian.Dehn here with the second episode in my video blog series, So You Want to Be a Principal. This series is all about real, candid, and proven advice for how to grow and advance in your career. In this episode, I'm going to hit on the idea of a weak foundation in the form of myths that you really want to avoid. I've heard these multiple times from people talking with them about their careers and advancement and professional growth, so I know they exist. I know they're out there. To be candid, these myths will hold you back, even though you might be relying on them as part of your strategy for moving forward. So I'm going to hit these myths head on and shoot them down in this episode. But before we get to those myths, I want to take a moment and explain the type of advice you're going to hear in this blog series, and then we'll bust those myths. So the type of advice I'll be discussing in this series is more around the personal side of your professional life, not the formal checkbox side of your professional life. What do I mean? There's plenty of information out there about what is required professionally for you to advance, what you need to be able to do, talk with CIOs, learn messaging, learn products, learn technology, and so on. All that's good and needed. However, in this series, I plan to focus on you, that personal side of this profession we're in, how you do your job, how you conduct yourself, how do you motivate yourself, what do you do above and beyond the basic professional requirements of your role? There's not really information out there about what you should be working on personally in your professional life, and that's what I'll be focusing on. I'm going to drill into this more in the next episode, but for now, I want to call out a few questions for you to ask yourself in the meantime. For example, what do people say about you when you're not there? Ooh, there's a tough question. Another one, what are you known for? What's your reputation? What opinions, perceptions do people have about you? Everyone has a reputation. What's yours? Are you a person that people want to work with, or do they avoid working with you? Are you known for taking the extra step, going the extra mile to help people? Again, we'll come back to all that and more in the next episode. For now, just keep in mind that this blog focuses on that personal side of your professional career. So, myths. Let's get into those. And I'll say right now that every one of these myths, except one, has an aspect of truth to them. They're not completely 100% wrong, but that aspect of truth makes them easier for us to think they are 100% accurate, and that's not true. So, first myth. My work will speak for itself. If I work real hard and be really good at my job, that'll get me noticed. And like I said, there's some truth to that myth. People will see your work, and they will form opinions and perceptions of you based on your work. That's the truth. However, letting your work sit out there and hoping people will notice your work is not a good strategy. If you want to grow your career, you need to be proactive in ensuring that people know about your work and about you and about the value you provide. In future blogs, I'll give you several ideas about how you might go about making you and your work known. And of course, you'll need to go about this in a way that's appropriate for your culture, your specific job situation, for your current role, and so on. In other words, don't be obnoxious. You could actually dig your own grave if you go about making your work known in a not so optimal way. All that to say, your work is not going to speak for itself. You need to be proactive and speak for your work. Myth busted. Second myth. My management is responsible for recognizing and advancing me. Again, there is some amount of truth to that myth. Yes, your management is responsible for the administrative side of promoting you, and if you have a good management, thankfully most of the management I've seen in Dell fits in this category, they may actually take the initiative to work with you, to move you forward, to advance you. But sitting back and waiting for your management to act on your behalf to recognize and advance you, again, is not a good strategy. If you want to grow your career, you need to be proactive and work with your management, not sit back and wait for them. And again, I'll dig deeper into how to go about this in a future blog. For now, myth busted. Third myth. I've paid my dues and been in this role for X amount of time, and now it's my turn to be promoted. Okay, honestly, that's not how it works. The truth is, you may get lucky, and that may factor into your advancing in your career, but candidly, you need to earn your promotion. You need to take the mindset of going above and beyond what's expected of you in your day-to-day work. Relying on this myth may actually result in other people around you getting promoted before you do, even if they've been in their role for a shorter period of time than you've been in yours. The reason may be that they are going above and beyond expectations while you are relying on, it's my turn to get promoted. You need to set yourself apart and prove and show yourself worthy of a promotion. Or you may be waiting a long time. My recommendation, don't wait around to get promoted. Go out and earn it. Myth. Working longer hours than everyone else will get me promoted sooner. Probably not. In fact, I've seen situations where people's brands have been negatively affected by working too many hours in the wrong way. It's not about how many hours you work. It's about what you do with the hours when you do work. Question: what value are you providing above and beyond expectations of your current role? Another question: what's the impact radius of the work you're doing? How many people, teams, groups are you impacting? Just working more hours than everybody else? Nope. Myth busted. Last myth. When I'm promoted, then I'll be able to provide more value than I can now. Again, I've heard all of these myths, but this one stands out to me. It's a myth that really doesn't have any truth to it, and here's why. Advancing in your career is not about the value you'll be able to provide when you're in your next role. It's about you proving you can do the next role now. Show everyone now that you can do the next role and turn that promotion into a recognition of what you are already doing. I'm busting this myth straight up. Okay, I said that was the last myth, and it was. But I want to make one more point before I'm done. There's a theme that's flowing through most of these myths, and that theme is hope. I'm going to work real hard and hope somebody notices me. I hope my work is good enough to get noticed. I hope my management will go to bat for me. I hope it's my turn to get promoted. I'll be straight up with you. I'm going to flip that around and say there's a theme to all my career advice, and that is hope is not a strategy. I'll say that again. Hope is not a strategy. You need to take control of what you can when it comes to advancing your career. Arash Ghazanfari talked about this in my previous blog. Don't sit back and hope for something to happen. Be proactive. Come up with a strategy that leverages your strengths and your passions, and then go after it. I'll talk more about strategy in future blogs, but for now, myths busted. Hope is not a strategy. I'll see you next time.